That was Chillin with his first run out since he got a little bit of the contact with that outer zone 2 wall. He's looking good. Definitely want to shake some of the cobwebs off there and make sure he's nice and deep in that entire zone so you can get the full points awarded for outer zone number 2. Great job on the entry and first outer zone by Chillin, getting a little bit of contact with the wall in outer zone number 2. Again, he's got to be super careful not to get too deep there. But great job overall. I think if he could combine his last 2 runs that we saw, we'd have a nice, perfect run out of him. So good job. We're going to take a second to clear off the track of any debris from that outer zone, and we'll get back into practice. That was Turbo Mike with a super smooth lead run. Great job out there as we wrap up practice. For anyone who is already watching at home, we're doing a quick 30-minute break and we will start our top 16 competition at 2 p.m. All right, that will wrap up our practice for today's tandem competition. We're taking a quick 30-minute break. Grab some food, grab a seat, go to the bathroom, whatever you guys need to do. We'll see you at 2 p.m. for the start of the top 16 competition. Don't forget to tune into the YouTube for Raceway Park for the live stream. Send the link to your friends, and we'll get that gambler started at 2 p.m.
For those of you joining us on the internet, thank you very much for joining us here at Raceway Park, the Gambler. We're gathering our drivers right now, resetting our course. A big shout to our track workers and media crew. We got our live stream cranked up on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you guys share it, share the link, tell your friends. We're about to get the party started here momentarily. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's see what you got. At this time, I need our first round competing drivers to start making their way towards the grid and the burnout box. I repeat, at this time, I'm going to need our first bracketed drivers to start making their way to the burnout box. If you guys are joining us on the internet, welcome to Raceway Park, the Gambler. We're about 5 minutes from getting this show started, so hang tight with me, grab your snacks, a quick bathroom break, and we'll see you back here for the show. All right, welcome to Raceway Park, the Gambler. This round's here in the stadium. We got our drivers back in the bark box warming up their tires right now. Our first driver's up. Nate Chen piloting that 1J S14.
This is a unique battle we have going on here. This is one battle to decide who gets that last 16th spot. So these are our 16 and 17 place qualifiers from yesterday. Nate Chen and Nappy, they'll be doing battle here to decide who gets that last remaining spot. And we'll have to go up against our first place qualifier, Meyer.
These guys are already battling it out just to get into the show here. A little bit of a gentleman rule taking place in the drivers' meeting. All the drivers out here looking to have a good time. All these guys definitely want to take home a win, but they don't want to take it in that mannerism. So these guys are going to battle it in to try to get into that 16th spot. They're going to face off against that number one qualifier, as Sarah just said, Meyer, who's been looking dialed throughout practice today. Crispy is definitely throwing it down. Looks like we got Nate locked up into the box and Nappy now in the bark box warming up his tires, so hang tight. We're about to get this party started.
While we wait for these drivers to get lined up, we'll give you guys a quick bit of insight on what our judges are looking for. So for our lead driver, we're looking for that 100-point qualifying run. Entry at the proper point, you want to make sure you're entered before that white line on the track and that you fill all of the outer zones. The outer zones are positioned in between the two orange cones. You'll see them painted out in white on the track. You want to see the car fully filling that zone, accelerating, looking smooth in that zone. Your transitions are pretty much up to the driver, wouldn't you say?
Yep, and it's definitely going to showcase right now as he jumped right into the party with Nate Chen leading Nappy. Nate Chen enters into outside zone number one, and Nappy, too much sauce going to the outside one. Nate Chen's got to keep his composure. He clicks into outside two. Nate Chen needs to keep that 1J powered S14. Keep his composure because Nappy with a major mistake into outside one. Hopefully he can hold that posture into his second half of this battle where he'll have to chase down Nappy's E36. Nappy worked all night to get that BMW back out of here on track.
It's sad to see. We want to see our drivers come out and compete head-to-head and get awarded a win. We hate to see drivers make errors like that. I'm really glad to see his car out today. He was working all night to get it together, as Perez stated, but unfortunately that's going to be a 0 in the chase position. Now, what I was explaining before, now the drivers will switch positions. Nappy will lead, and Nate Chen will give chase. Now, the lead driver, again, we're looking for that 100-point qualifying run. The chase driver's job is to put it on the door of the lead driver and mimic what they're doing as a moving clipping point, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and switch those positions and send those drivers out for one more run.
All right, Sarah, I got to go get in my car right now. I'm going to let you take the reins. Barack looks like he's getting that thing up and running. A big shout for Barack. Put it into the wall and get it fixed before comp. I'm going to go have a party.
All right, to give you guys watching at home a little insight, our announcer here, Mike Perez, is also competing as a driver in this event as well. So I'm going to have to lose my co-host for a little bit and pick up the slack to announce and watch him drive as well. So he's actually going up against Barack Ozar in the next battle. But let's go ahead and watch our drivers go. Again, Nappy is leading, and Nate Chen will give chase. You can definitely tell that Nate Chen is giving him some room here. He does know if his spotter told him about the spin in the chase run by Nappy, so he's going to give him a little bit of room here and make sure that he does a smooth chase. Again, decent job by both drivers. Unfortunately, I think that 0 is going to weigh heavy on the judges' minds. We'll have to wait as they deliberate, and we'll announce the winner shortly. You guys are going to get to watch the replay at home so we can see a little bit closer. We do have the help of the drone today, and the drone does not lie. So the judges are now watching this footage that you're seeing at home, poring over it and deciding if the drivers made any errors, where they'll deduct, where they'll give points, and they're going to come up with a winner. And as we predicted, Chen is going to get the win. Nate Chen gets the win, and we'll move on against Meyer in our top 16. Our next drivers on the line is our very own Mike Perez and Ozar, who just finished repairing his car about 2 minutes ago. So this should be a very interesting battle. That's Brock warming up his tires in the burnout box right now. We're hoping his car is 100% as he goes up against Mike Perez. Definitely don't want to be biased here. I like both drivers. Not sure who I want to see win this battle, but some nice driving on both parts is what I think everyone wants to see here. Now we see our very own Mike the Pez Dispenser Perez. He was dispensing a ton of proximity in practice against our lead driver, so let's see if he can also get it done here and put it on the door of Barack. Perez is actually going to lead first, I believe, and then we'll switch him around and he'll get to be in the chase position. Yep, as I thought, I misspoke there. So Barack did qualify higher, and he's going to get to lead this battle first. Mike Perez will be in the chase position, and then we'll go ahead and switch those guys up. So you get to see Mike Perez, his famous chase car abilities here. We'll see if he doesn't let me down. I might have just announcers cursed him. Brock is one half of our Barbie boys team. Jabbar unfortunately broke yesterday, so he will not be competing today, but he's definitely here in spirit rooting on his teammate. Nice pink cars, by the way. I do appreciate that. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and send him. Again, this is Barack Ozar in the lead and Mike Perez giving chase. Nice job on the entry there. You'd never know this car was broken about 5 minutes ago. Getting nice and deep in that second outer zone. Definitely giving it all the beans as he gets out of the zone. Pretty nice job there. Definitely nice and deep coming across that inner clip, the only inner clip we have. And Mike Perez showing exactly what we mean by being a great chase driver. Phenomenal job by both drivers. Let's switch them around and see what Mike's got in the lead. I think all of our fans are excited to see Ozar out there with a car in one piece, able to give Mike Perez a run for his money. Quite literally, we actually have some side bets going on at the Gambler today. You'll see some cars with tokens on their roof, chips or tokens, and those are our Let It Ride tokens. Our two drivers don't have any right now, but I'll go ahead. Actually, Ozar has bet some money in the last man standing competition, so we'll give you guys a little insight on what that is. Some of the drivers have made side bets, and they're not betting on who's going to win the competition, but rather who will be the last man standing in that pot. So Ozar has put some money in, so this is a little extras riding on this battle. Here we go, the lights are out on our tree. We're going to go ahead and send them again. Here we go. Mike Perez is a pretty aggressive driver. He likes to get silly with these entries, so let's see if he can get it done there. Nice job on the entry, but Ozar's not letting him have an inch. Nice job in that second outer zone as he comes back up on Perez. He's kind of letting him get away there slightly, but he's going to reel him back in hopefully for this third outer zone. Oh man, unfortunately that is a spin in the chase, and that's going to be a 0 for his chase run. You hate to see it. And let's make it official. Mike Perez gets the win. Mike Perez, looks like I will be announcing solo for a little bit longer here today, guys. That's Mike Perez with the win. Next up on the line, we have our first place qualifier, Chris Meyer, going against Nate Chen, who had to fight his way into the competition today. Nate Chen is actually a Formula Drift Pro Spec driver, and Christopher is a former champion here, so this should be a very good battle for you guys to watch. All right, let's clarify since Tanner wants to correct me. Christopher is a former winner here, first place winner of the Gambler. As much as I may want it to be a series, it is not, so he's not technically a champion, but he is a champion in our hearts. Thank you, Tanner. Looks like we're having a slight bit of technical difficulties with our tree, so hang tight while we have the drivers on the line there. Hopefully we can get that fixed. If not, our grid worker Kyle is going to have to hand drop old school style. All right, we got it back together. Let's go ahead and send them for Chris Meyer's lead run and Nate Chen giving chase. Nice job in that first outer zone by Chris Meyer as they transition over to the second outer zone. Chris Meyer is nice and deep as you see him make contact with the wall. Nate Chen slightly less angle, but he is on the door of Chris Meyer, not letting him get away at all as they come around to that third outer zone. Again, so deep by Chris Meyer. Nice job, Nate Chen right on his door. That's a phenomenal battle, ladies and gentlemen. And Mike Perez is back. Here you go, Mike.
I just ran up the bleachers. Now Crispy looks great out here. Nate Chen definitely putting the proximity on. Little waver in through. Whoo, I gotta catch my breath real quick. I'm in it. This shit's fun.
You guys are probably watching the replay now with the drone, so we can take a look a little bit closer at how the drivers did. And we're actually gonna go ahead and send them again. So Nate Chen will lead, and Chris Meyer will be in the chase position. Nice job on the entry by Nate Chen. Chris Meyer giving him a little bit of space, but sucking right up to his door. Great job in the chase position as they go to that second outer zone. Chris is now letting him have 1 inch here. He says, this is gonna be my win. Nice job as the drivers come across the center section and transition to that third outer zone. Great job by Nate Chen and amazing job by Chris Meyer in the chase position.
You would never know this is our first place qualifier against our 16th qualified driver. Both these guys are driving phenomenally, looking smooth and collective. These guys are putting the pressure in. Nate, you can see him get super deep. A little bit of correction from Chris, trying to dive back now. Nate's trying to finish off that zone. Chris looks great. Nate looks great. It's not going to be easy for these judges at all. I'm still trying to catch my breath. It's 100% from running up the bleachers too.
You got to get your exercise in, Mike. But you're not wrong. Those two drivers are phenomenal. Nice job on the entry by Nate Chen. Chris Meyer giving him a little bit of space, but sucking right up to his door as they transition over to the second outer zone. Chris Meyer is nice and deep as you see him. Nate Chen slightly less angle, but he is. Nice job as the drivers are not letting him get away at all. And transition to that third outer zone. Great job by Nate Chen.
And we have a winner. Chris Meyer gets the win. Chris Meyer gets the win. Our number one qualifier taking that first bracket win, moving in. It's me versus Meyer now. All right, Crispy, bring it, baby.
That's gonna be a tough one. I don't know who
I'm not scared. Chris, you got nothing on me. Come get it. Come see the sauce.
All right, so next up we have Alan Boss and Nick DeLessio. Nick DeLessio was hot lapping it in practice, looking real good, but Alan Boss's car is a pretty crazy build, Mike.
That thing is a full carbon fiber 350Z, Wise fab rear suspension, quick change. He's in the lead position, going up against Alessio. Both these guys holding on to Let It Ride tokens, money on the line. Let's gamble here. Outside zone 1, Alan Boss getting in. Alessio trying to put the pressure on, and And D'Alessio, contact with Alan Boss, and Alan Boss hard into the wall of danger on outside 2. Definitely not the ideal situation here, but Nick D'Alessio pushing in Alan, a tight transition, maybe a little angle, slowing down, decelling into outside 2. D'Alessio just clipping the backside of that 350Z, upsetting the trajectory of both cars. Unfortunately, Alan Boss just running out of real estate on the edge of outside zone number 2. D'Alessio looks like he's limping his back, a little sad in the face, but unfortunately for Alan Boss, that front end buried deep into the K-rail there.
You hate to see that, Mike. So now our judges are going to take a look at the replay, and they're going to have to assess who's at fault for that collision. The driver who is deemed not at fault will get 10 minutes to try to repair his car, and the driver who is at fault does not get any time but can take his competition 5-minute timeout.
Yeah, this is definitely going to have to weigh on the judge's decision to ascertain fault to one of these drivers, and it's an unfortunate turn of events. All these guys have been jamming throughout practice. Barack himself, that pink BMW that I battled out, had a major crash in a similar area. The gas pedal broke off of his BMW mid-drift. He threw it into the wall. Him and his guys, his friends, his team, all got his car back up and running, bent intercooler piping and all, and he went out there to put on a show. I'm super proud of Barack. I know Alan Boss and his team are more than competent to put that thing back together. Hopefully it's in a state of repair, and we'll hopefully see Alan and his 350Z back out here.
We hope so as well. Shout out to the Yeet Fleet watching at home. We have our fingers crossed that he can get this car back together and we can see a tandem battle here in a few minutes. Bear with us as we clear off the track.
It looks like Alan is out and about of his car. Unfortunately, we got the Kawasaki out there going to fork him out of here. That Yeet Fleet carbon fiber 350Z, a beautiful car. The good thing about carbon fiber is it can kind of take a hit, and it's just a few resin parties away from getting right back to normal. I know Alan has been out here, he's been thrashing all day. That thing is a rocket ship. It's definitely fun to follow.
We're definitely glad that Alan is okay. Again, we can see him out walking around. That was a hard hit into the barrier. We really hope he can get his car back out together so we can see some more competition. But hey, what matters is that he's in one piece.
Yeah, it just goes to show how much engineering's actually put into each one of these chassis. All these cars are out here with full roll cages, and a lot of engineering's into the crash structures to allow these cars to take a hit, unfortunately losing body panels, but holding its function and its machining and having the capability of coming out and competing again. Maybe a little lighter with less body panels, but hopefully Alan and his team have what they need to repair that car. Just hang tight with us as we get him out of here. Go grab a snack, maybe a bathroom break. Check out the views here at the beautiful Raceway Park, and thank you for joining us both online and in person here at The Gambler. All right, we're getting Alan Boss's carbon fiber Yeet Fleet 350Z off the track right now. I'm not a doctor, but it looks like it's a little bit of front suspension and maybe a wheel and some arms in the back. It does look a little cranked up, but I know Alan and his team are motivated to get that thing fixed and back out on track. As soon as we get the track cleaned up, we're gonna jump probably into our next battle here. Kimlin versus Turbo Mike Buell. And according to our judges, they have put fault on Nick Delicious D'Alessio, just pushing a little too hard into that transition of outside zone number 2, just barely clipping the backside of Alan Boss's 350Z, and unfortunately just putting it into the wall. So at this time, Alan Boss will have 10 minutes to make repairs to his car. If Nick D'Alessio needs to make any repairs to his car, he will have to call his Competition 5 timeout. Each driver is only allotted 1 Competition 5 timeout per event. So definitely not the way you want to use it, but unfortunately, if Nick needs it, he's going to have to take it and use it up in this battle right now. Alan Boss and his team, I repeat, will have 10 minutes to fix that 350Z and get it back out and ready for battle.
Now, if he does need extra time, he can also lop on his 5-minute timeout. Each driver gets 1 5-minute competition timeout for the entire weekend. I don't believe he's used his already, so if he needs it, he can get that in addition to his 10-minute. But, you know, as his crew, use up that 10 minutes, see if you still need to make repairs, and you could always call your 5 on top of it at that time. But I'm hoping both drivers can get their cars A-OK and back out here to run once again.
Both those drivers also holding on to Let It Ride tokens. These tokens hold a $25 value when they're awarded to our qualifying random driver. Alan Boss holding on to that Freedom Motorsports Let It Ride token, and D'Alessio holding on to that Drift HQ Let It Ride token. One of these drivers is going to lose that money, and the other driver is going to double the value of the token they already hold, also stealing the other token, moving into the next battle with $75 worth of Let It Ride token thanks to Freedom Motorsports and Drift HQ. It looks like our track is now getting cleaned up. This will be a good time. Grab your snacks, work your way back to your seats right now. We're going to get right back to the party here with Max Kimlin piloting that aggressive S13 built by Munson Motorsports, and Turbo Mike with an aggressive S14 built by Turbo Mike. I'm looking forward to this battle coming up right here at Raceway Park, the Gambler.
Next up, we have the battle of the S chassis, both with a V8 under the hood. We have Max Kimlin in the Munson Motorsports. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's a
It's a JZ.
Madam, that is a JZ.
Okay.
Sarah, mistaken. Kimlin's car definitely has a V8 under there, but Turbo Mike is a JZ car through and through. How dare you disrespect Mike like that?
See, so I just love big V8s. So sometimes that's all that's on my brain. So we have a JZ versus a V8. The gray S13 piloted by Max Kimlin, the Munson Motorsports built machine. It's definitely gnarly, but we also have Turbo Mike in the JZ. Oh my God.
It's an S14. Don't worry, Sarah. I caught my breath. I've been sitting for a while.
I'm gonna switch spots with you, Mike, because I can't sit next to these judges that are just, you know,
Oh, it's the side banter.
Unreal.
It's the side banter of the judges here distracting us, but now they're paying attention as our battle's getting started. As Turbo Mike and that JZ S14 clicking in the outside zone number 1 is Max Kimlin putting the pressure on an aggressive jump and right back into position, and too much sauce from Max Kimlin as he puts him in the dirt, avoiding contact with Turbo Mike's S14. As Turbo Mike finishes off his lap here, Max Kimlin keeping it off the K-rails, keeping it exciting as Turbo Mike putting on a show in that last outside zone number 3.
Well, whatever color it was at the beginning of this battle, it's brown now, Tanner. Unfortunately, Kimlin went a little bit wide in that second outer zone, so that's going to be a heavy favor for Turbo Mike.
Yeah, Turbo Mike definitely looking into taking the advantage. Ooh, it looks like he got a little bit of a kiss there from Max Kimlin, but Turbo Mike taking it like a champ, going all the way and completing outside zone number 2, clicking all the way, nice transition into outside 3, clicking in, a nice clutch kick to the wheels back, starting across the finish line. Definitely a confident first lap here from Turbo Mike, and not what we ideally would like to see out of Max Kimlin, but I know both these drivers definitely want to be here, so I know Turbo Mike's not going to let the pressure die on his chase run, where Max Kimlin now has to put down an ideal lead to even have a chance against Turbo Mike, hoping to make a mistake out of Turbo Mike's S14.
Stranger things have happened. A lot can happen over the course of one battle, so Max is going to have to really send it on this one and have almost no errors if he wants a chance at winning this battle.
Yeah, this is going to be the battle of mistakes now. Max Kimlin just needs to check all of his boxes and make sure that Turbo Mike makes his own mistakes here. I know Turbo Mike, though, he is more than comfortable following some chaos. He's a local. He's been coming here forever, helping out with developing Chris Knapp's or Mike Knapp's BMW. He's definitely understanding of what his chassis is capable of. So it's really going to be up to Max, giving him the real estate to play in.
100%. Also, Turbo Mike has judged 2 gamblers, I believe, here in the past, so he knows what the judges are looking for, and he's a super smooth driver, so this is a tall order if Max wants to even get any points here. So let's see what happens with both these cars when we flip them around and send them again.
All right, it looks like our drivers are good and ready underneath that Raceway Park tower. You can see right underneath that Formula Drift banner from last weekend here as a pro circuit, the Formula Drift Pro and Pro Spec drivers are out here battling out. If you guys tuned in live and saw that, you definitely saw Ricky Hoffman hucking things around, breaking quick changes, doing what he does best. One of our judges here today also paired up with Tanner Munson and Reese Marin. These guys have an eye up in the sky watching everybody compete here today, making sure that everybody's doing what needs to be done to put on the best show possible here at Raceway Park the Gambler, and we get started. Max Kimlin needs to throw down, and a little bit of a wonk, maybe a gear issue. Unfortunately, it looks like the car is no longer operating. Oh, nope, he found it. And Turbo Mike, unfortunately, Max, the wrong guy made the mistake there. It looks like a mechanical error. A little bit of responsibility, shutting it down, keeping it out of harm's way as Turbo Mike takes a little bit of extra data, clicking in the boxes, maybe having a little fun. And it looks like Turbo Mike's going to take the win here, but it's not official. We'll have to wait on the judges' deliberation.
Yeah, let's make it official now. Our judges are telling us Turbo Mike gets the win. Not a shocker there. Unfortunately, Max seems to have some issues. We would have liked to see him battle, but unfortunately, we're going to send Turbo Mike on.
Yeah, definitely Max's car is a weapon. Max out here was doing great during practice. He warmed up a little later into the day, maybe a little bit too much hibachi, but he came back in. He was definitely having a great time and unfortunately just got a little too saucy and asked a little too much out of it. He's going to get that thing fixed up. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube. It's definitely entertaining. Our next battle up on the line is going to be Kenrick Meyer piloting that supercharged V8 red E36, going up against Trevor Root with that LSA supercharged V8 E36. They're very similar styled vehicles as well. So really, Kenrick has a little more hip on her. It's a red vehicle, and then Root's kind of like the baby brother of Kenrick Meyer. I believe Kenrick even snuck a sticker on the back of his car during last night's pit activities. So Kenrick Meyer is now sitting in the lead position, that red E36, going up against Trevor Root in the gray E36. Both these guys known to throw down. Both these machines are more than capable. Sarah, why don't you call this one?
You got it. This is going to be my favorite and least favorite battle of the day. I really love watching both of these drivers drive. They have very similar driving styles, so this should be a super interesting battle. Both very smooth, nice wide line, easy to chase. So let's see what they got with Kenrick Meyer in the lead and Trevor Root giving chase. Oh, we see a token go in the wind as Kenrick Meyer enters that first outer zone. Nice and deep as they transition over to that second outer zone. Putting it on the wall there, but Trevor is not letting him get away. Reeling him in towards that end of the second outer zone. Coming across the track, transitioning to our third outer zone against our wall of death. Trevor Root right on the door of Kenrick Meyer. Great job by both drivers there. Someone's got to track that token down, Mike.
Yeah, so Kenrick Meyer was hanging on to that East Coast Drift School Let It Ride token, letting it ride this round. He's got that $25 token on the line. Trevor Root trying to take it out of him. It looks like Kenrick Meyer flaring out of the Raceway Park, stripping that token right off the roof. Those things are magnetic, so a little bit of air underneath, and they really get airborne. There's definitely a nice breeze here. It's a beautiful day here at Raceway Park, and I am excited to see the second half of this battle as Trevor Root locks himself into that lead position, the chicane behind that drag tree, and Kenrick Meyer now to chase. Trevor Root piloting the gray E36, Kenrick Meyer in the red BMW E36.
All right, here we go. We're going to send those drivers. The lights are on. Trevor Root in the lead position and Kenrick Meyer giving chase. Trevor Root is an excellent driver. We're going to see him come in nice and wide here on that first outer zone, and Kenrick Meyer right on his door, not letting him get away. Nice job in the chase position by Kenrick Meyer. Super smooth lead by Trevor Root, getting all the way to the edge of that second outer zone as our boys transition over the center section to that third outer zone to the wall of death. Trevor Root nice and wide, Kenrick Meyer on his door. Great job by both drivers.
That was really cool to see. You saw Kenrick right on the back bumper of Trevor Root's on the initiation, and a little bit of proximity flare, but he makes that up for the transition dive here into outside zone number 2. You can see him start to lock into position here and then just holds it right there, locked onto the door handle of Trevor Root, as Trevor's doing a great job just flowing through the course, just a tap on that front clip, diving into outside 3, and Kenrick starting to put the pressure on. Look at these guys, almost perfect angle match going into outside 3 against that wall of death. But these walls have definitely taken a couple victims today, so kudos to both those drivers holding their composure, and we're gonna have to lean on the judges for a final decision here. As our judges are deliberating, you guys get a treat of watching the replay over and over as Trevor Root giving the real estate for Kenrick Meyer to play behind. Trevor Root just super solid, super smooth. He was clicking all the boxes, entering the zones. Look at him, perfect, nice and deep into outside zone number 1. A nice smooth transition, walking right into the outside of outside 2. I mean, there's not much more you can ask for the enter there, holding into the zone, all to its completion, pulling it back into that front clip, just a tap. And from the judges, a one more time battle. We're gonna send them one more time between Kenrick Meyer and Trevor Root. You guys go slap some tires on this thing. We wanna see it again. Kenrick Meyer is gonna hold on to the East Coast Drift School Let It Ride token for one more battle, as we're gonna whip those guys back behind the wall. They'll put some new rubber underneath those machines and get right back at her.
Yeah, we kind of knew that was going to happen. I was watching both drivers in practice, and they drive so similarly. They're always right on the line where they need to be. I think, honestly, both of them could turn it up slightly in the aggression department, and that's probably who's going to get the win in that one more time battle, but we'll see him go again.
I know this isn't the pro circuit, but our judges are definitely asking for these drivers to push it, and those guys are more than capable of showcasing more than just the checklist that's required. And when both of them just basically throw down what's the bare minimum, our judges are going to ask for some sort of notification that you deserve to take the win out of that battle. Both those drivers now know what the other driver is more than capable of giving them the real estate to play in. Kenrick Meyer is definitely a seasoned vet. He's been driving for a long time. Trevor Root is no stranger to any of the gambling Gamblers or the track days here, dialing himself in over the last couple months, years. I mean, his entire team and program has been making leaps and bounds, keeping that thing alive. That thing is just an animal as well. As we jump right back into our next battle here, Chris Knapp and Chichillin holding on to that South Bay fuel injectors letter ride token. Chichillin in that BMW in the lead. Chris Knapp to chase at that IS-300. Chichillin clicking into outside zone number 1. Chris Knapp trying to reel him back in with the Valinos on the back of that IS-300. Both drivers clicking to outside 2. Chichillin doing a great job through outside 2, holding into that completion. As Knapp starting to put the proximity on. And both drivers go past that front clip. Knapp a little bit of a wiggle, and Chichillin holds his composure into the last zone. Knapp trying to clean it up. Got a little spicy there through the center section over the concrete.
That transition over the concrete definitely separates the men from the boys going into that third outer zone, the wall of death. Chichillin was driving really great in practice today. He was chasing phenomenally, but Chris Knapp knows this track but like the back of his hand, so this should be a very interesting second run for both drivers.
All right, Chris is now sitting in the lead position. Max now sitting in the chase. Chris, knowing he has a little bit of a dilemma underneath his belt, needs to put down a classically perfect lead lap. Max has to chase him down, putting it on the door handles of that IS-300. I know Chris has the Valinos, those Play-Doh tires on the back of that thing, so that thing is a rocket ship when it listens to him, and Chris definitely knows what inputs need to be necessary as running the East Coast Drift School here at Raceway Park as both drivers initiate into outside zone number 1. Max doing a great job trying to hold his composure, giving a little bit of space for Chris to settle into outside zone number 2 as Max is starting to put the pressure on now as both drivers working the way. Chris, oh my, a little bit airborne. I like your flavor, you're stealing my style here as Chris Knapp holds his composure and just handles on maybe a little mechanical error, keeps it off of the wall. Both drivers avoiding any more chaotic. Wow, I mean, that was a little PT. Hey, Ricky, are you okay over there, bud?
Yeah, the judges are going to need a second to take a look at that one. That was a wild ride. We know Maxim likes to chase super close, but I think he got a little too close there in that second outer zone, booping, for lack of a better word, Chris Knapp, and slightly throwing him offline there possibly. The judges are going to take a look and see if they need to deem a fault for that collision.
You know what's crazy? Watching the replay here on the live stream, thanks to the Flying Monster guys, they are putting on a great job here. Chris Knapp, you can see him initiate into outside zone 1, nice and deep. Max is trying to give him the patience to work his way into outside 2. Chris Knapp is super deep, and Max just looks like he gets a little bite, maybe a little straight, and makes contact with that front wheel. But here, Knapp just holds his composure, and at this point, that front wheel is broken. He's now transitions the car over, and the car is no longer listening to him anymore. Big kudos to Chris, the holding his composure, holding into the drift. That wheel no longer connected to the suspension. He did a great job.
It's gnarly. So a lot of times a car will act completely differently in one direction of drift, and then so Chris is able to hold together as he gets hit, and then when he goes to transition onto that other wheel as the lead wheel, that's when you can really feel that it's broken. That's why he was able to keep driving, and then once he transitioned, he's like, whoa, what is this, you know?
I mean, kudos to Chris. He understood there was a mechanical failure. Probably after the impact, he knew he had to be a little cautious going into outside zone number 3. When he threw it in, he knew that it was something upset with the car and kept it off of the wall. Max doing a great job avoiding another contact. Unfortunately, in drifting cars, and what we're asking these drivers to do, especially on this track, all laid down with Formula D Pro rubber, these guys are biting these cars up, and it's definitely making it difficult to have a small mistake like that. And you definitely don't want to take the loss when just put the clutch in and just give it to the other guy, so you're giving it everything she's got. And unfortunately, Max just making a little contact with the IS-300 to Chris Knapp. The Kawasaki's back out here. We'll get him forked out of here. We'll get this cleaned up, grab some snacks, maybe a little bathroom break, and we'll get right back to the party here as we got Kenrick, Meyer, and Trevor Root sitting underneath the Raceway Park Tower. We're ready to party.
A little more insight here from the judges as we're clearing off the track. They're going to give the win to Chichillin. Chachulin. I'm so sorry for butchering your name. There's a lot of C's in there, and it's windy up here in the judges' stand. Maxim gets the win. Maxim gets the win. Let's elaborate on that a little bit more because we were just taking a look at the hit for Knapp, who is on the forks currently. Do you want to add something to that, Mike?
No, I just wanted to, Chris is out there. He's like riding on the side of the Kawasaki. He's got his own car up on the forks. He's more than familiar than forking cars out of here. And Chris just gives 2 arm pumps in the air. He is just happy to be out here drifting at Raceway Park. These guys, the entire Napoleon family, giving us an avenue, a playground to play here at Raceway Park. And I'm excited to be here for the Gambler. Unfortunately, stuff happens in drifting, especially out here in a comp, but we got our next 2 drivers up on the line. We're getting Knapp out of here. Make sure you give a big round of applause to Knapp and Chachulin for coming out here and throwing down as we get our next drivers up and ready to party.
Yeah, great job. So honestly, there was only one small error by Knapp in that second outer zone. He changed momentum for 1 second, and because Maxim was chasing so closely, there was contact there. So the judges are actually deeming Knapp at fault for the contact in outer zone 2, but that does nullify since they kept drifting. And then Chris did stop drifting going into outer zone 3, so that would be a 0 there. So basically, either way you slice it, Knapp is going to get the loss and Maxim gets the win. But phenomenal driving on both drivers' parts. Maxim will move on.
So Maxim, holding on to that South Bay Fuel Injectors Let It Ride token, is going to double its value, making it a $50 cash value moving into the next bracket, where he'll go up against the winner of our next one more time battle of Kenrick, Meyer, and Trevor Root. Kenrick, Meyer holding on to an East Coast Drift School Let It Ride token as well. They saw it already go up in the air as these guys were flying underneath the tower here at Raceway Park. But Kenrick still holding on to that East Coast Drift School Let It Ride token, looking to double its value and bring it into the next battle against Maxim so he can steal his money.
There's a lot of money on the line today. We have our Let It Ride tokens. Those tokens are awarded at random to the drivers in the top 16, and they get a choice either to keep that money or let it ride. Now, if they let it ride and win their battle, that money doubles. If they let it ride and lose, the token then transfers to the driver that beat them, and it starts again at $25. So it's pretty interesting today.
And to boot, once these drivers have collected all their tokens into the finals, the values then lock. So when you take a loss through a regular bracket, the value of that token resets, but you get to take that money and start doubling it yourself. If you can take a Let It Ride token and let it ride the entirety of this event, you could walk into the finals with hundreds of dollars that then locks the value. And if you beat your competitor in the finals here, you take their full value chips. And that's just the Let It Ride tokens. We still have a last man standing pool, which our drivers put in their own money, and the last man standing of that conglomerate of drivers is the guy that takes the win. You don't have to win in the event, you just have to be the last man standing. And also we have cash prizes, the big checks for the winners on the box here at Raceway Park. And it looks like our track is cleaned up, ready to get back at the action here as Kenrick, Meyer, and Trevor Root is sitting on the line under the Raceway Park tower, ready to get another battle here at The Gambler. The suspense is killing me.
Yeah, let's see if these drivers can step it up and turn it up to 110% and really give us some fun stuff to watch on this battle.
Well, it's definitely entertaining to watch drivers go 110% here, especially since the walls stop at 0.
Great point, Mike. Great point. All right, here we go. I hear the drivers fired up. Doing a little burnout, warming up those tires that may have cooled down after they got lined up. We're going to go ahead and send those in just a moment to get back into our one more time battle between Kenrick, Meyer, and Trevor Root.
All right, it looks like we got the thumbs up. Our drivers look like they're ready to go as Kenrick Meyer and Trevor Root now in position for their one more time battle here at Raceway Park. Kenrick Meyer in that red E36 taking the lead. Trevor Root to chase in that gray E36. Both drivers initiating to outside zone number 1. Kenrick Meyer clicking in. Trevor Root a little fall behind, but dives right back in on the backside of that BMW going into outside zone number 2. Trevor Root locking into the angle here. At the completion of outside zone number 2. Both drivers curl back into that front inner clip. Trevor Root out of the back bumper, give him a little space and jumps right back as Kenrick Meyer holding his composure and across the finish line. You can tell why these guys are going one more time battle here as Kenrick Meyer and Trevor Root doing a great job here at the Gambler.
Yeah, that was a great job by both the drivers in that last run. Nice job, a little more commitment on entry from Kenrick. You can tell he's more aggressive here in the lead run. He's trying to get that win, but Trevor Root is not letting him have an inch. He's right on his door in the chase position. I think they're making it even harder on the judges because that was a pretty flawless run in both the lead and chase positions, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out here and I'm competing here at this round of the Gambler, and I am really jealous of the real estate these guys are giving each other to play. These guys are having a blast as Kenrick Myers filling that outside zone into the completion, clicks right into the early of outside zone 2, but Trevor Root is right there. And Trevor, you can see him holding a little bit of less angle to hold the pace against Kenrick Myers' supercharged V8, but then you can see the LSA power of that V8 underneath Trevor Root's hood, putting it down through that transition, making strategic moves to get back into position for outside zone number 3. Both these drivers have swap position. Trevor Root now in the lead, Kenrick Meyer to chase.
All right, the lights are out and we're gonna send him Trevor Root in that lead position. Let's see how he does with this entry here. Nice job entering. Kenrick Meyer is right on his door as Trevor Root fills that first outer zone. A pretty wild transition over that center section as Trevor Root is in that second outer zone with Kenrick Meyer knocking on the door. Trevor Root really fast across that center section, coming into the wall of death. That's a pretty confident lead run, Mike, but not a bad job in the chase position as well.
Yeah, I want to see that transition going to outside zone number 2. You guys can see it right here on the instant replay. Trevor Root getting nice and wide into outside zone number 1. Kenrick Meyer giving him a little bit of space and maybe almost a little too aggressive on his line choice and had to make room for Trevor to transition. Kenrick Meyer doing a great job staying out of the way, getting back into position on outside zone number 2. Trevor Root just looks smooth as butter out there as Kenrick Meyer is just trying to put the proximity down, but Root just clicking the boxes, doing what he needs to do. Definitely not making it an easy job for our judges.
This
already
here.
Chase one more grade 36.
Nice
You can see outside zone number 1. Kenrick Meyer clicking in. Trevor Root a little fall behind, but dives right back in on the back side of that BMW going into outside zone number 2. Trevor Root locking in. Outside zone number 2. Both drivers throw back into that front end quick. Trevor Root out of the back bumper. Get a little space and jumps right back as Kenrick Meyer holds his composure and across the finish line. You can tell why these guys are firing that red E36, taking the lead. Trevor Root to chase in that gray E36. Both drivers initiating outside zone number 1. Kenrick Meyer clicking in. Trevor Root a little fall behind, but dives right back in on the backside of that BMW going into outside zone number 2. Trevor Root locking in. Outside zone number 2. Both drivers throw back into that front inner quick. Trevor Root out of the back bumper. Give him a little space and jumps right back as Kenrick Meyer holding his composure and across the finish line. You can tell why these guys are firing that red E36, taking the lead. Trevor Root to chase in that gray E36. Both drivers initiating outside zone number 1 and winner clicking in. Trevor Root a little fall behind, but dives right back in on the backside of that BMW going into outside zone number 2. Trevor Root locking in. Both drivers down here. Both drivers showdown here. Raceway Trevor Root out of the back bumper. Give him a little space and jumps right back as Kenrick Meyer holding his composure and across the finish line. You can tell why
stealing Kenrick Meyer's East Coast Drift School token, so he's going to have that and he's going to advance. They're both in the last man standing battle, so that's one less driver for those guys who did choose to put their money in for last man standing. Definitely exciting, Mike.
Our next 2 drivers to battle it out. Chris Stevens over there in the bark box. Speaking of boxes, this man was on a podium at the last round. Didn't think I was going there. But Chris Stevens out here in the bark box, warming up his tires for his next battle, going up against Colin. Colin has been looking great and solid throughout practice here, but Stevens is a weapon. He's got a new wax job on that thing. You see, he took the clay bar out. He only got half the car done, but the front end looks phenomenal.
You can tell Mike Perez is a big fan of Chris Stevens and his car. He just, I don't know.
Just half of it, the shiny part.
Right, I don't know if it's the red, I don't know if it's that S13 front, I don't know.
Chris has always been a great tandem driver. He puts a lot of proximity and makes sure that he's where he needs to be when he needs to be there, almost taking chances to be somewhere where he needs to be before it's even necessary. So I'm definitely looking forward to Stevens chasing, but first he's going to be in the lead position up against Colin in that G35. And this G35, when he was locking in, Colin was in it. So I'm definitely looking forward to both these drivers battling it out here at Raceway Park, the Gambler.
Yeah, me too. Colin was looking super gnarly in practice, especially in the chase position. So if they can both put it together, this should be another highly entertaining battle. I'm having a great time out here today, Mike.
It is a beautiful weather out here. I can't ask for anything more. I'm driving, so I'm having a blast regardless. And all these guys have been driving phenomenally. All the judges have been praising the drivers throughout the drivers meeting. I'm telling you, we got out here and I've never driven the stadium course before, and I went out for practice, fashionably late to just make sure that I knew what was going on. And these drivers are locked and loaded in full-on tandem practice. These guys from the get-go were dooring people the beginning of the day yesterday. We had a whole practice day for our whole qualifying day here at Raceway Park. We may have some format changes to some double headers in the future rounds, so make sure you guys get over to racewaypark.com and get signed up. This is open to any car that could pass tech, but not pro cars. And you have to be on a 255 tire. Make sure you hit up our supporters like TireStacks.com to get your tire so you can get out here and compete yourself both in here at the Drift Stadium and on the road course at Raceway Park. And it looks like we're going to jump right into our battle here as Chris Stevens taking the lead in that freshly waxed S13, taking the point. Right into outside zone number 1 is Colin at G35, trying to put the pressure on. Both drivers transition to outside 2. Stevens trying to get settled. Colin giving them a little bit of patience as both drivers work their way into outside 2 completion. Stevens clicking the box and curls into that first inside clip. Colin's right behind him. Stevens a little bit of a float out to outside 3. And Colin's a little bit of a correction. Maybe waiting a tad too long, falling off the power band. I'm not really sure what underneath the hood of that G35.
I don't know, but I do hear some sounds of forced induction, so something gnarly, I would assume. Anyway, here we go for the replay. You can see Stevens taking a nice, smooth, and aggressive line out there in that second outer zone. Great job by Stevens, but Colin is very close in the chase. As they transition over that center section, he does gap him slightly. Colin falls back, as you said, Mike, maybe a small error. Yeeing when he should haul, messing his feet up. I don't know what was going on there. But we're going to give him a chance for redemption as we flip him around and let Colin lead and Chris Stevens chase.
Yeah, that wall of death in that last outside zone, you got to really trust that lead driver to be confident going in. You're kind of blind, especially when you're watching like the B-pillar or the door handle of your competitor trying to hold your proximity. You can definitely get washed out and blinded out and maybe a little bit of hesitance going into that outside zone. It looks like Colin just fell off a little too much. We'll see if he can check all the boxes here as he takes the lead position at the Gambler Raceway Park as Chris Stevens goes to chase. Colin clicks into outside 1. Stevens losing that proximity, maybe taking a little bit of a cheater line to get back to the door. Colin going into outside 2. Stevens back there with Colin locked in. That G35 starting to choose. Stevens starting to put the pressure on now as both drivers curl back into that first inside clip. Stevens a little left foot brake, walking through the smoke line of Colin G35 as both drivers work their way to outside zone number 3 and across the finish line. Colin in that G35 doing a great job, and Chris Stevens with that freshly waxed front end S13. Both these drivers looking fantastic. Sarah, why don't you walk them through the replay?
Nice job filling that first outer zone by Colin, but Chris Stevens is knocking on the door. Super fast transition into the second outer zone, and again, Colin's doing a pretty darn good job at filling that. If I'm being picky, I do think he left that second outer zone a little bit early and allowed Chris Stevens to suck right up to his door, coming into that third outer zone. But again, great job by Colin and a phenomenal chase by Chris Stevens. The judges are going to take a look at that replay and deliberate and choose themselves a winner.
Freshly waxed S13 taking the
Chris Stevens goes to chase.
Our next battle number 1 is Colin at G35. Maybe taking a little bit of a cheater line to get back to the door. Colin going to get settled. Colin giving a little bit of patience. Stevens starting to put the pressure on the box. Curl back into that first inside clip. Colin a little left break. Stevens a little bit of a float out to outside 3. Colin's working their way to outside zone number 3. Maybe waiting a finish line. Here's Chris Stevens taking the lead in a freshly waxed S13. Taking the point.
Chris Stevens goes
right into outside zone number 1 is Colin at G35. Putting the pressure on. Taking a little bit of a cheater line to get back to the his door. Colin going outside too. Giving him a little bit of space. Colin blocking. He's just trying to do something. He's going to put pressure on now. Throw that first inside. First inside. Colin drops behind to the left of Brady. A little bit of smoke on it. Outside very much. Colin driver forward to action on zone number 3. Maybe waiting across the finish line. Chris Stevens taking the lead.
Good buddy. Next up on the line, we have Tyler Foley and Mike Knapp. But before we send them, we do have a winner for our previous battle, and the win goes to Chris Stevens. Chris Stevens gets the win. Congratulations. Great driving by Colin, but he's going to have to pack it up today. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next battle. Tyler Foley against Mike Knapp, the man himself. 2 BMWs. It's very different and very similar. Let's see how it plays out. All right, here we go. Tyler Foley is leading, and Mike Knapp will give chase. Nice smooth entry by Tyler Foley. Oh, Mike Knapp with a straight, and unfortunately that is going to be a 0. We're sad to see that, but he's back in drift. You can tell he wants to finish out this run. Tyler Foley putting down a nice line, slightly conservative, but doing a great job in the lead position. And Mike Knapp going to get a little more experience in the chase. Bringing it to his door, unfortunately a little late. That is going to be a 0 in the chase position for Mike Knapp. He is going to get some redemption as the lead driver. We're going to flip him around and let Mike Knapp lead and Tyler Foley give chase. You guys are watching the live stream. You can see the replay here. You can see Mike Knapp just pulls out of drift, slightly straightens, unfortunately, letting Tyler Foley have a heavy advantage going into the second part of the battle. And you know, that's just how it plays out sometimes. The car, Mike Knapp's car definitely looks very gripped up, very aggressive, which can be a good thing, but as you guys can see, can also be a bad thing. All right, here we have our drivers getting ready. Mike Knapp in the lead position and Tyler Foley giving chase. Oh, we did knock a cone over, so that will be a restart, unfortunately. The lead driver is not allowed to touch any of the cones in the chicane to prevent them from getting an advantage, so we're gonna have to line them up again. At this time, we're going to have to call Jay Anderson down to the tire machine. You have a massive pile of tires building up there, buddy. Hey, thank you for what you do. You're doing a great job. Keep after it. Hey, I'm just the messenger, buddy. Do, 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 do. Jay, please report to the tire machine. Thank you very much. We need tires changed. Thank you, good buddy. All right, we have our drivers back on the line. We're gonna see if Mike Knapp can get a clean start here. Again, the lead driver needs to go through the chicane of cones without touching any to prevent the lead driver from running away and allowing the chase driver to get right up on his door. Nice job, super fast and smooth entry by Mike Knapp. In the chase position, doing a great job there, putting it right on his door. Even though Tyler Foley is at an advantage, he's not letting Mike Knapp get away with anything here. Nice job through the center section. You can tell that car looks really great that Mike Knapp is piloting as he comes out. Great job by both drivers. Phenomenal lead run by Mike Knapp and a great chase run by Tyler Foley. Great job to both drivers. You guys can check out the replay here. That was a really great first outer zone by Knapp. That was one of the best ones I've seen today. A little bit of a late entry into that second outer zone, but doing a great job filling that one as well. Super smooth, super fast. But again, Tyler Foley knocking on his door. And if we remember from the previous run, Mike is at a 0 for that, so Tyler Foley does get the advantage. So the judges are going to take a look at that and then make it official with a winner. Tyler Foley does have the Flipsco Let It Ride token, which is a cash prize. I believe he's got it on his car and he's going to let it ride here today, so we'll announce a winner and to see who gets that token. Next up, we have 2 more drivers on the line. The judges are still deliberating, but we're going to send our next battle. This is Chris Meyer in the lead and Mike Perez, our very own announcer, in the chase position. Nice job filling that first outer zone by Chris Meyer. Super aggressive chase by Mike Perez in that second outer zone. But Chris Meyer, that's his zone. He's all the way at the edge as Mike Perez puts it right on his door. A small gap going to the third outer zone, but Mike Perez is not letting him get away. Great job by both drivers. Let's flip him around and see what we got. Could we have, we're gonna hold on 1 second. We need one of Alan Boss's crew members or himself up to the tower right now to talk with the judges. Alan Boss, up to the tower, please. Thank you. And let's make it official. Tyler Foley gets the win in our last battle with Mike Knapp and Tyler Foley. Tyler Foley gets the win. Now let's take a look at the second half of this battle between our very own Mike Perez and Chris Meyer, the #1 qualifier. This time Perez is going to lead and Chris Meyer is going to chase. He enters right on his door. Crazy chase run by Chris Meyer. Nice job in the lead, getting all the way to the wall by Mike Perez, and Chris is right on his door, not letting him have any room as they come around that first inner clip. And out to that third outer zone and wall of death. Nice aggressive lead run by Mike Perez, and a nice job chasing by Chris Meyer. Great job all around. These guys are driving crazy today. The judges are going to have their work cut out for them as they watch the replay here with Mike Perez's lead and Chris Meyer in chase. Mike Perez putting down a super aggressive line here, and Chris just trying to reel him in that third outer zone. Great job by both drivers. This time Perez is our very own announcer in the chase position. Nice job filling that first outer zone by Chris Meyer. Super aggressive chase getting all the way to Mike Perez, and Mike Perez and Chris is right on his door. Meyer gets his zone. He's all the way at the edge as Mike Perez puts it right on his door. And out to that third outer zone, but Mike Perez is not letting him get away. And the judges have deliberated. Let's make it official. Chris Meyer gets the win. Chris Meyer gets the win. He's moving on to the Final Four. So sorry to our very own Mike Perez. He's going to have to get back up in the tower here and continue to announce with me. Chris Meyer is moving on to the Final Four. All right, let's explain what's going on here. We're seeing a buy run from Turbo Mike, and we'll give you some insight in a second. So technically, he only needs to leave the line and put down a run in order to get his win and move on, since he does have a buy run. but let's enjoy the drifting, shall we? So to fill you guys in, that was a bye run because Boss and D'Alessio had some contact in their first battle. D'Alessio was deemed at fault and Boss was given the win. Unfortunately, he could not get his car back together in time. It is a shame to see. We would have loved to see him battle Turbo Mike, but that means that Turbo Mike does get the win and move on to the Final Four where he will be battling Chris Meyer. On the line now, we have Trevor Root and Maxim. Trevor Root and Maxim. Maxim will lead and Trevor Root will give chase. This should be an interesting battle. These are both phenomenal chase drivers, so I'm excited to see this one as well. Maxim has doubled his South Bay fuel injectors cash prize on his Let It Ride token, and it looks as if he's gonna let it ride for another lap. Let's go ahead and watch him go. Nice job on entry by Maxim, but Trevor Root is right on his door, not letting him get away as they transition into that second outer zone. I would have liked Maxim to be a little bit deeper there in the second outer zone, but Trevor Root is right on his door. Great job in the chase position by Trevor Root as he dives up on Maxim's door, not letting him have an inch. Phenomenal chase driving by Trevor Root and a great lead run by Maxim as well. We're watching the replay here as Mike Perez joins us in the tower. We see a few errors in the lead run by Maxim, and Trevor Root is doing a decent job chasing him down, putting it right on Maxim's door. We're gonna keep watching this replay here while the judges take some notes and really go over this run before we send him out again. Nice job by both those drivers. All right, our judges have finished watching that first run. We're gonna go ahead and swap positions with Trevor Root in the lead and Maxim chasing him down here for this second half of the battle. Let's watch these cars go. Trevor Root with a conservative entry, but fully fills that outer zone. Nice job as Maxim reels him into that second outer zone. Trevor Root getting super deep, maybe had some contact with the wall there. Nice job by Trevor Root. But Maxim's not letting him get away. Reeling him in across the center section and putting it right on Trevor Root's door. Nice job on that second run by both those drivers. Let's take a look at the replay here. Trevor Root just feathering it in there, fully filling that outer zone for the first outer zone. Great job. I would like to see a little bit more aggressive there. Oh yeah, sure enough, does make some contact with the wall in the second outer zone. So the judges are going to take that into consideration as well. Nice job in the chase position by Maxim, doing good, putting it on his door. Trevor Root does pull away towards the second half of that third outer zone, but overall a great job in the chase position. Nice job on entry by Maxim. Trevor Root is right on his door, not let him get away. Nice job as Maxim reels him into this one. Trevor Root getting super deep in the second outer zone. Nice job by Trevor. Great job in the chase position by Trevor Root as he dives reeling him in across the center section and putting it right on Trevor Root's door. What would I do without you guys? Up next, we have our last battle of the top 8. Chris Stevens and Tyler Foley. We can see Chris Stevens pulling up to the line right now. Tyler Foley working his way through the burnout box. This is our last battle for our top 8. Tyler Foley has the Flipsco Cash Let It Ride token, which he doubled by getting the win against Mike Knapp. I believe he's going to let it ride for this lap as well. Chris Stevens looking to steal that token and take it into the final 4. Let's see which driver comes out on top.
Me and these judges are going to have some words, I'm just saying. That wall is a heavy one. All right, we're back here with Chris Stevens sitting in that lead position with Tyler Foley to chase. Tyler sitting right in that chase position, right to the chicane left of the drag tree underneath the Raceway Park Tower. Stevens in that freshly waxed front end S13 looking to take a solid lead lap here, and Foley's looking to put it right on the door handle of Chris's S13 as both drivers work their way through the chicane. Stevens with a crazy flick through that chicane, working his way into the entry point. Initiated well before the first initiation point into outside zone number 1. Foley lacking a little bit of proximity, dives in going into outside zone number 2. Steven keeps it off that wall that did me in, and Stevens holding his composure, walking away from Foley as Foley's just trying to keep up with Stevens' S13 as both drivers work their way into the outside zone. You can definitely see a little more pace in Stevens' car as Foley doing everything in his power to keep up with the S13 of Chris Stevens in the front.
It's great to have you back up here, Mike. I know you are bummed about having to join us. You did some great driving. I think that came down to splitting hairs, so I'm so sorry you lost.
It came down to splitting my taillight on the back wall.
You tell Mike's a little salty. Great driving, great driving. All right, let's watch this replay here. The judges are going to deliberate. Great job in the lead run. Chris Stevens is on fire. Tyler Foley definitely leaving some room there in the chase position. He's going to have to put down an aggressive lead here if he wants to come out on top against Chris Stevens, but great job by both drivers. All right, we've got them lined up again. This time Tyler Foley will lead and Chris Stevens will give chase. The lights are on, they are out, and let's send these drivers. Super slow conservative entry for Tyler Foley, and Chris Stevens is right on his door there, not letting him have any room going in that second outer zone. Tyler Foley turning it up, coming out of that second outer zone, but Chris Stevens, man, there must be a piece of paper between those two cars. Chris Stevens is chasing so closely. Nice job, Chris Stevens. Look at that chase run. My goodness. Wax that hood, Mike.
Tyler Foley giving the real estate for Chris Stevens to play in. You can see him as he locked through outside zone number 1 and transition here. Chris just barely giving enough room for Foley to fall into outside 2. Falls right back to the proximity. Barking at the door handles that E36 of Foley as both drivers work they into that first inside clip. Stevens showing a lot of composure. It looks like he whacked Steven the roof here. Going into outside zone number 3. Foley nice and deep. Stevens a little bit of a tighter line trying to keep the proximity. Maybe a little hesitant following Foley's way into the entry point. Initiate well before the first initiation point into outside zone number 1. Foley lacking a little bit of proximity, dives in and going into outside zone number 2. Steven keeps it off that wall and did me in. Steven holding his composure, walking away from Foley as Foley just trying to keep up with Steven's S13. Both drivers work their way into the outside zone. You can definitely see a little more pace in Steven's car. Foley doing everything in his power to show up on the judges with a crazy flick to that chicane, working his way into the entry point. Initiated well before the first initiation point into outside zone number 1. Foley lacking a little bit of proximity, dives in and going into outside zone number 2. Steven keeps it off that wall and did me in. And Steven holding his composure, walking away from
desired in the chase position there, Mike.
I definitely know how Tyler feels at this very moment. I'm also sitting next to Mike Knapp, who unfortunately fell to a similar fate as I did. Both our weekend is over here, but we're both enjoying the weather up here at the Judges Tower. Mike, do you have anything to say to all the competitors or anybody wishing to come out to compete here at Raceway Park the Gambler?
I honestly don't know how you can have a better time. You know, I enjoyed watching FD, of course, 2 weeks ago, but man, there's nothing like playing out here. It's a great track. It's not as easy as it looks. Wish I did a little better, but I'm getting my arms wrapped around that car, and I definitely feel a lot better today than I did, like, a week ago with the car. But yeah, I mean, it's a good time. We run both tracks, so if you're even thinking about starting comps, this is the place to start. This is a great first step to the ladder. You're going to have people that are beginning also, but you also have some really good drivers. And of course, in a lot of cases, the best way to become good at something is to play with the people that are good at it,
For sure, surrounding yourself with the best of the best definitely helps, and there's guys out here started practice this weekend and they didn't look super solid, did a couple chase laps because we jumped right into tandem, like yourself in a brand new chassis, and everyone seems dialed at this point. I haven't competed in like 4 or 5 years at this point. I came in actually nervous and I'm having a great time. This is a great atmosphere. We got beautiful weather here at Raceway Park, so thank you, Mike, for giving us a playground to come out here and play with all our machines and our drift cars. Sarah,
I also wanted to point out the amount of seat time these drivers have been getting in this comp is astronomical. So you are competing against other drivers. A lot of them are very talented, but you are getting that competition experience. And at the very end of the day, you're getting a dumb amount of seat time, to be honest.
yeah, I went through almost all of my tires. A big shout out to TireStacks.com. Shameless plug here for hooking me up with a bunch of tires to get out here at the Gambler. But if you guys are even considering it, I highly recommend it. This entire facility is built and ran by drifters, for drifters. It's a crazy amount of energy that's in this place. You could have seen that through FD last weekend, and is just overflowing and holding just indefinitely here as we get right into our next battle. The guy that took me out. Sarah, you're going to have to take this one.
All right, we have Chris Meyer, the #1 qualifier in the lead run, and Turbo Mike giving chase. Super fast entry by Chris Meyer. He's cooking as he comes across that center section, but Turbo Mike is putting it on his door. Chris Meyer all the way to the wall in that second outer zone, fully filling it as he exits, heading towards the inner clip. Nice job, Turbo Mike is still on his door. Chris Meyer transitioning to that third outer zone, leaving a little bit of a gap for Turbo Mike, but great job by both drivers there.
Definitely saw a little bit of dirt clouds twice throughout the track with Turbo Mike. You can see Chris Meyer. I'm glad this guy beat me because he's pulled out of outside 1 a little bit, but right here he just dials in the outside 2 right on the edge of that K-rail. Turbo Mike ripping off a taillight and a bumper, a little bit of us-up to his car. You can see he needs to make a decision here to make up the proximity going into that first inside clip. Turbo Mike, unfortunately, the little bit of a bobbles here, throwing him off his line, maybe getting a little deep into that last bump on that corner there. Definitely a gnarly one. We've seen a lot of other drivers take suspension hits from that bump over the finish line. But Turbo Mike holding his composure behind Chris Meyer, and you can see Chris just barely flirting with disaster there. Hey, bud, there's a wall there. I know.
Ask Mike how he knows. You can go ahead and see his driver's side taillight. It's been having better days.
Excuse me, that was earlier. It's the passenger side this time.
Oh, I stand corrected. Thank you, Mike. We're going to swap our drivers around. This time, Turbo Mike in the lead position and Chris Meyer, our #1 qualifier, in chase.
You really got to stop rubbing this in, all right? I know, Chris beat me. Chris Meyer driving phenomenally. Let's see how he does in the chase position up against Turbo Mike. Turbo Mike, knowing he has a little bit of a deficit, is definitely going to drive his heart out here. That S14 is definitely a weapon, and it looks like we have a cone down in the chicane. We're going to send her through. As Turbo Mike deep in the outside 1, Chris giving a little patience behind, and Chris trying to put it in. Turbo Mike hard into that danger wall. I feel you, bud. I feel you. As Chris Meyer taking a small victory lap, Turbo Mike, unfortunately, making contact with that outside zone #2, the danger wall. It looks like Mike is moving inside of his cabin, more upset than injured, hopefully. You can see here Turbo Mike deep in the outside 1 and it upsetting the car. He's trying to drive that thing through, and just a little too much inertia going into outside zone #2, slightly offline, and just unfortunately puts the taillight into the K-rail. The car and the chassis rotates in and he rides it out, getting out of the way of Chris Meyer. And Chris Meyer holding his patience and finishing off his lap, maybe conserving a little bit of a tire. Chris Meyer is having a hell of a drive today.
He is, yeah, he's been driving great all weekend. That is very unfortunate to see what happened to Turbo Mike. You get a little too silly coming across that center section, and the wall is there to give you the punishment. But let's make it official. Chris Meyer gets the win. Chris Meyer, you're going to the finals.
And just like that, we are into our finals here. Our next battle up on the line between Trevor Root and Chris Stevens. And Turbo Mike, unfortunately, taking a little bit of suspension damage. He said, don't worry, I'll drive this out of here.
Let's hear it for Turbo Mike. He's also been doing some phenomenal driving this weekend. Give it up. We're sorry to see you eat that wall, buddy, but glad that you are okay and the car is somewhat in one piece.
As Turbo Mike squeals his way underneath the Raceway Park Tower, all our safety staff and track officials out on the track. It looks like he's going to give a little bit of a blow off here as we take this time. A big shout out to all our sponsors here on the live stream and at Raceway Park for helping make the Gambler happen. A big shout out to our track staff and our media, as well as every driver here that has competed. I know you guys have spent a ton of money to be out here to have a blast, and I hope you guys are enjoying your time here at Raceway Park the Gambler. Thank you guys for joining us both on Facebook and YouTube. Hang tight and we'll get right back to the action here as we're going to battle out for our finalists of Chris Stevens and Trevor Root to see who's going to take off that guy, Chris Meyer. Premio sausage, the way sausage should be.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for our track workers today, keeping the track clear of bumpers. Great job, guys. Thank you so much. Another round for our photographers, keeping it down in that center section in those media barriers. You guys are great. Thank you so much for getting some sweet footage for us to look over later.
I definitely appreciate you guys. My car looked great at the start of the weekend, so I appreciate the memories now. We're waiting for our drivers to work their way back up to the grid. Trevor Root and Chris Stevens working their way. I believe these guys are holding on to Let It Ride tokens. Root's got 2 Let It Ride tokens thanks to South Bay Fuel Injectors and East Coast Drift School, and Stevens holding on to a Flipsco Let It Ride token. Chris Meyer also holding on to his own tokens as well, with Freedom Motorsports and Drift HQ already in his pocket, and since he's in the finals, those values now hold. So Chris Meyer stealing them from Mike Turbo Mike. So he has $50 locked in of Let It Ride tokens. An unfortunate lower, but our sponsors, I'm sure, appreciate the lower values here. But these guys definitely have a capability of ramping that up to a couple $100s each. So this driver is now already locked in, Chris Meyer, with 2 Let It Ride tokens, holding on to $50 thanks to Freedom Motorsports and Drift HQ. And he's waiting for the verdict between Trevor Root and Chris Stevens. A big shout out to Chris Meyer, our #1 qualifier today, taking me out of competition. I'm sorry I didn't give you the best lead possible, but I'm sure I'll be back to kick your butt next time.
Woo, some tough talk from Mike Perez here. Chris Bush on the one wheel, giving us a bit of entertainment as we make sure the track is clear and ready for our last battle of the Final Four. Nice job, Chris. You're really cruising, buddy. Mike Perez has a dog. He can't speak right now. Please hold.
I'm busy, all right? Oliver's here. He's my best fur friend.
That is your emotional support dog after taking the L out there.
It's not even mine.
Oh, look at that.
It's the best kind of dogs.
We have our drivers, Trevor Root and Chris Stevens, heading into the burnout box to warm up their tires. The track looks clear, and we are ready to head into that last battle of the Final Four to see who's going up against Chris Meyer in the finals.
Once again, thank you very much for joining us both here live at Raceway Park and online on our Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe both to the YouTube and the Facebook to never miss a Gambler event. I know it is a great watch. I'm really enjoying myself talking up here, but more importantly, a big round of applause to Sarah helping make this possible to allow me to drive today. So a big shout out to Sarah for helping me out, as always, my co-host here at Raceway Park the Gambler.
I'll hold it down for you any day, Mike. Great driving, making me proud. I'm having a blast up here watching all this drifting. This is a great way to spend a Sunday.
I think you might need to get a roll cage in that, boy, so you can come out here yourself.
First, I'm going to track down some talent, and then I will for sure cage it up, and I'll put it right on your door, baby.
You don't need talent. I showcased that earlier. You can just smack the walls and pinball your way around here. I'm still having a blast here at Raceway Park the Gambler. Make sure you guys stop in at racewaypark.com. Get signed up for the next round. I have reason to believe it's going to be a double-header weekend. So that means we're going to try to put in 2 comps into a Saturday, Sunday, and I believe it's over on the road course. Do not quote me. But either here at the stadium or over on the road course, both those times are an amazing, amazing atmosphere. Everybody out here trying to have the best time possible. I saw a lot of
And I really can't decide which one is better, which one's my favorite, whether it is the road course or the stadium. There are 2 completely different tracks. I've heard certain drivers say they like one better or the other, but honestly, I think it's a toss-up. I like them both.
They definitely both have their own quirks. Me, I've never driven the stadium before this event, and watching FD, I was here last weekend spotting for drivers, and it's a completely different animal when you get between the K-rails and you're trying to wrestle yourself and everybody else through here. There's definitely a ton of X factor in this place, and you get so much seat time. It's just bang, bang, right onto the tower. You can whip right around the wall, go right back at it again. And the road course, I mean, I love the road course. The road course is just fast and fun.
The road course is definitely a classic, and our stadium here is the exact layout that the Formula Drift guys ran, what was it, last weekend? So it's a chance to see if you got what it takes to run it with the big boys.
Yeah, it's definitely a rare occasion that you can come out on literally the same, it's still bannered up on the tower. This is the same initiation point, the same zone paints. This is identical to what the pros ran last weekend here at Raceway Park. So make sure you get yourself signed up at racewaypark.com and get yourself out here for the Gambler. Let me see what you got as we go into our next battle here. Chris Stevens and Trevor Root.
The lights are out. We're going to go ahead and send him with Chris Stevens in the lead position and Trevor Root giving chase. We can hear both of those V8s screaming under those hoods as Chris Stevens with an aggressive and a little bit too wide of an entry there. Oh, and unfortunately he also gets into the wall of the second outer zone. Dang, so that's the tough part about coming in with a little bit too aggressive of a line, too wide in the first zone, sets you up very poorly for that second zone.
Reese is concerned that maybe an extra leg of Chris has got in the way as he tried to drive through it all. Unfortunately, Chris just driving a little hard through outside zone number 1 and a little too deep and just shoving.
Mike cut out. I think he's in time.
He turned me off.
Yeah, he's in timeout. But yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you send it a little bit too hard, a little too much sauce, and those are the consequences of going too deep.
Chris looks like he just got a little too heavy through outside 1, and that line just, unfortunately, he tried to drive it away from it, but just couldn't curl it back in. Knowing that Root was barking at his door behind him, it's definitely a stress point. So we're going to go into the second half of this battle. Stevens at a deficit, Root to lead.
All right, we're going to go ahead and send those drivers. You can see our tree repurposed from drag racing to send our drifters out into this stadium. Trevor Root is going to lead, and Chris Stevens is going to chase. And I'm just going to go ahead on a limb here and say Stevens, knowing he's at a deficit, is going to plant it on Trevor Root's door.
So he knows that he's going to have to put the pressure on, but Trevor Root understands that he just needs to check his boxes. So it's all up to Trevor holding his composure, but Chris is going to put on a show. All right, here we go. The second half of this battle is Trevor Root in that gray E36 taking the lead position. Chris Stevens in that freshly waxed S13 taking the chase. Both drivers come in and initiate, working their way into outside 1. Stevens falling a little behind as Root starting to click through the outside zone number 2. Root standing on the left foot brake, keeping it off of that wall, but Chris Stevens right there on the side of Trevor Root's BMW, clicking away at outside zone number 2. Stevens right there on the side of Root's BMW. Transition right to the back bumper and a little too much as Root finishes off his lap. And unfortunately, that's going to give it to Trevor Root. Chris Stevens putting on a show going into that inside clip.
He definitely didn't leave anything else out there. He was driving super aggressive. Unfortunately, still some mistakes in the chase position. I hate to say it unofficially. I think this one's going to Root.
I have to agree with you, but we have to weigh in on our judges. Stevens, kudos, because in that scenario, he had all the time in the world to bite almost too much, and we saw a similar accident like that happen with D'Alessio and our driver earlier, so we can see it happen all the time. Stevens holding his composure. Unfortunately, the car just biting back, straightening up right before outside zone number 3. Hopefully, mechanically, it will live to fight another day, and we're going to have to wait for the judge's decision. And it's official. Trevor Root gets the win. Trevor Root gets the win, taking 4 Let It Ride tokens. 3 Let It Ride tokens with $100, $50, and $25. He's walking in with $175 up against $50 and Chris Meyer. Both these guys are now battling out for all those Let It Ride tokens and the big check and that number 1 on the box. Turbo Mike, we need you to report to the grid for your third place battle. Turbo Mike, please report to the grid for your third place battle up against Chris Stevens. At this time, both Chris Stevens and Turbo Mike, please report to the grid for your third place battle. Thank you guys for joining us here at Raceway Park, the Gambler. A big shout out to all of our drivers this weekend. Also our Let It Ride sponsors, Freedom Motorsports, Drift HQ, East Coast Drift School, South Bay Fuel Injectors, and Flipsco. All these guys throwing a bunch of money out for our drivers as an extra little treat, and these guys are now battling it out for the top of the box here at Raceway Park, the Gambler.
We have some good news, though, as far as our last man standing battle pot. All the drivers at the end of qualifying put in for their last man standing bet. They bet on themselves or their driver, and all you have to do is be the last man standing. You don't actually have to win. And some great news is Trevor Root is the last man standing. Whether or not he wins, he's getting $900. So yeah, making Dad proud on Father's Day. Great job, Trevor.
Turbo Mike calling his competition 5 timeout for his third place battle up against Chris Stevens. Turbo Mike now putting down the time. We're going to get a clock down there at Turbo Mike's pit so we can get that car situated for his third place battle. A big congratulations again to the $900 last man standing winner, Trevor Root, in that gray E36, preparing himself to go up against battle Chris Meyer, that guy that beat me earlier. Driving fantastic all day long. Our number 1 qualifier, Chris Meyer, going up against Trevor Root in the finals. Hang tight, grab a snack, maybe a bathroom break. We'll get right back to the action here at Raceway Park, the Gambler, momentarily. Well, once again, thank you guys for joining us here, both live at Raceway Park and on the internet at Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you guys show a lot of love to all of the event sponsors that help make this happen. Also, a big shout out to the Raceway Park staff and the Knapp family for allowing this playground to be utilized in this fashion, for allowing these drivers to come out here and drive at a top caliber venue with top caliber driving. I'm having a great time here. The weather is beautiful here in New Jersey, and I am looking forward to the last couple battles here. We have our third place battle between Chris Stevens and Turbo Mike, and our final battle with hundreds of dollars in Let It Ride tokens. We got thousands of dollars on the big checks, looking for the top of the box between Trevor Root and Chris Meyer. Chris Meyer, our #1 qualifier. Trevor Root looking super solid throughout practice and competition here today, taking out Chris Meyer's brother earlier in the event after a one more time battle. Root definitely now seasoned and ready, and Chris Meyer obviously showing that he's a smooth operator out here, especially behind me when some idiot hits a wall. So both these drivers doing a great job throughout the day. We're looking for our Turbo Mike. He's got his competition 5 right now. He's trying to get his vehicle fixed after the mishap with his battle with Chris Meyer, going up against Chris Stevens. Looks like we got Chris Stevens in the bark box warming up his tires, and it looks like Turbo Mike's behind the tower. So get back to your seats, grab your snacks. We're about to get the third place battle here at Raceway Park the Gambler underway.
Well, Mike, if you're going to lose, at least you lose to the #1 qualifier, potentially a winner here, but definitely going to the finals. That's a guy you want to lose to.
I mean, it doesn't hurt any less, but yes, I see where you're coming from.
Thank you. I'm trying to make you feel better. No, I'm just kidding. This one is like an appetizer to the finals. We're going to see who's taking the third place and who's going to get to stand on the box here at our awards ceremony after the final. Chris Stevens is looking for some redemption after that loss in the Final Four, and Turbo Mike is looking to turn it up. You know, he wants to show that he can ride that wall in Outer Zone 2 without fully eating it.
Yeah, I know how that feels. As Turbo Mike's now in the chase position, he's going to have to rely on Chris Stevens to give him the real estate necessary to put it on the door. Chris Stevens, all he has to do is check the boxes here, fill the zones in completion, hold his inertia through our transitions, complete the entire course without any hiccups, which, as you can tell, gets harder and harder as the energy in this place rises. And our third place battle about to go underway as Chris Stevens taking the lead in that freshly waxed, and we have a cone down. Do we have a restart? We're going to click through. As Chris Stevens calling it in, Turbo Mike trying to put the pressure on as both drivers work their way in the outside zone #2. Both drivers getting super deep on that outside line. And Turbo Mike unfortunately can't keep pace with Stevens, S13, pulling away, going into that last outside zone, outside 3. Turbo Mike trying to take a line cut, trying to fix the proximity before the finish line. I believe we had a cone knock and the red light illuminated. We'd have to go to an official there. I don't know if it was a technicality or not. Like I said, I take no responsibility here. I just talk into the stick.
I think they're going to let that run stand. Technically, as we mentioned earlier, the lead driver cannot touch any cones in the chicane. This is to prevent the lead driver from running away from the chase driver. Usually unintentionally, they'll knock a cone over. Maybe they're, a little hot out of that gate there under the tower. But I believe that run is going to stand.
All right, this is a little bit of the technical parts of running a competition here with a big venue. We have our drivers. It looks like our staff on the grid is going to reset. We're going to put our drivers back into their original positions. And unfortunately, taking out that cone is going to start a restart. A big kudos to Turbo Mike and his spotters for coming over here to make sure that the show understood what was happening. We appreciate you guys, and this is the reason why you guys need a spotter out here. Regardless of how good you actually think you are, you need eyes in the sky.
Absolutely. The spotter not only will coach you, the spotter also is your line of communication between you and the judges. So a lot of times the drivers will see some stuff that might not be apparent right away to the judges, and the spotter would make us aware.
Definitely, our judges are not hyper fixated on the initiation, or especially if way in the distance underneath the Raceway Park Tower. Their job here is the initiation point in our outside and our inner clips. Our judges are more focused upon what our drivers are doing once that initiation point happens, and we rely on our track staff to relay that information. So a little bit of an information delay, but we got it all situated. We got our drivers back into the right position. Chris Stevens now back in that lead position, and Turbo Mike to chase.
And I'm sure none of the fans are mad at another lap of drifting, am I right?
No, I'm sure these guys aren't either. These guys have both been having a blast all day today, so I'm looking forward to them to basically just going out and doing it again.
Hey, me too. You'll love to see it. All right, take two. The lights are on and they are out. Let's see if Chris Stevens can get through that chicane without touching the cones, and he does. Super quick coming to the entry very early, putting his car right in that outer zone. Great job by Chris Stevens, but Turbo Mike is right on his door. He's like, you're not getting away that easy. He does come in contact with the wall a bit. We saw a puff of smoke and dust come up from that. So he does fall back slightly in the chase. Chris Stevens is absolutely through the floor here. He's not letting Mike get away with anything. Great driving by both drivers.
You guys are in for a treat. This is just the third place drivers, and Chris Stevens clicks into outside zone number 1. Turbo Mike shortly behind him, trying to match the angle, give him a little bit of room going into outside zone number 2, and you can just see Mike float a little wide, and you can see the crunch of that S14 taking it to the trunk. Turbo Mike not afraid of the wall, standing in it, trying to hold his line, unfortunately just losing a little bit of proximity, and Chris Stevens has a lot of pace in that S13, so he just couldn't clean it up after that little tussle with outside zone number 2's wall.
Yeah, Chris Stevens is a super fast driver, so knocking into the wall on Turbo Mike's part kind of just held him up for a half a second, and that's all you really need for Chris Stevens to run away with that lead run.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous part of the track over there. Guys have been hitting that wall all day.
I wonder who hit the wall. Huh, I'm not sure.
Only the greats.
Oh my goodness. All right, the goal is to keep it out of the wall. We like light kisses only if you must, but proximity is the name of the game. You don't want to get too deep because it can cost you, but we'll see what happens when we flip these drivers around. Turbo Mike leading this time and Chris Stevens giving chase.
All right, let's see if Turbo Mike cannot make out with outside zone number 2's wall as he takes the lead position, trying to give the real estate to Chris Stevens the play. Both drivers working their way into that last initiation point and initiate. Stevens right to the door, Turbo Mike's S14. Both drivers doing a great job through 1. Stevens right there. Turbo Mike keeping it out of the wall. He knows he can't get in there, and Stevens not giving him an inch. Locked into position, matching angle, holding his proximity. Turbo Mike doing a great job, and Stevens, textbook, right in. Turbo Mike giving him the real estate to play, and Chris Stevens showcasing why he's out here. It's unofficial, but Stevens may be sitting in that 3rd position.
Yeah, I think in spite of Turbo Mike's aggressive lead run, Chris Stevens had a point to prove, and that is a clinic on how to chase, everyone. And that's going to make it official. Chris Stevens gets the win. Chris Stevens gets the win and is going to stand on the podium with our 2 drivers in the finals. What order? Yet to be determined, Mike.
Yeah, I am looking forward to this last battle here at Raceway Park, the Gambler, here in the Drift Stadium. Last weekend, hosting, I guess there was everything. The Knapps opened up their shop to let the FD guys prep their cars. The pro guys were here last weekend battling it out, and now these 2 gentlemen, pros in my mind, Chris Meyer and Trevor Root, out here throwing down hundreds of dollars of Let It Ride tokens thanks to Freedom Motorsports, Drift HQ, South Bay Fuel Injectors, East Coast Drift School, and Flipsco. And these guys are looking to take home the big checks. The 1-2 on the box here, back on the wall at Raceway Park. These guys are ready for battle. Chris Meyer now locked into that lead position, and Trevor Root to chase.
All right, here we go, guys. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. These 2 drivers in the finals, 2 BMWs, E36, E46, both big LSs under the hood. Let's see him run.
All right, Chris Meyer taking the lead. That guy going into outside zone number 1, checking the boxes. Trevor Root not far behind him. Both drivers transition to outside 2. Chris Meyer trying to keep it out of the wall. Trevor Root trying to put the pressure on. A little bit of dirt. Trevor Root putting the proximity on, maybe a little too much angle. As Chris starting to drive away from him a little bit. Going past that first interclave, but Root's right there. Right back to the backside of Chris Meyer's E46 BMW. Both drivers across the finish line. We got a little weird going through outside zone number 2. I want to go back to the instant replay to see exactly what happened here. As we can see, Chris Meyer clicks in a nice early initiation, getting into outside zone 1, nice and early, maybe pulling out and going into outside zone number 2. Trevor Root trying to lock in the position here, and Trevor maybe just underestimated the power put in from Chris. Chris maybe a little bit of a bobble halfway through the zone there, but Root putting the proximity back down, holding his position, working his way through the weird here. Chris Meyer giving him a pretty good lead lap.
Yeah, it was definitely aggressive to start off. Unfortunately, he did have that small correction in outer zone number 2, but Trevor Root's right on his door pretty much, doing a great job chasing him. We'll see what happens when we flip him around and let Trevor Root lead and Chris Meyer give chase.
Chris Meyer flirting with that outer zone 2 wall, flirting with disaster out there. Really just teasing me about it. Trevor Root now in that lead position, locked up under that Raceway Park tower, getting chased down by Chris Meyer. Trevor Root in that LSA V8 supercharged E36 going up against Chris Meyer in that V8 powered E46. Root to lead, Meyer to chase. Here we go. The second half of our final battle here, Raceway Park the Gambler. Trevor Root leading Chris Meyer down. Initiates, got to click into the outside box. Chris Meyer trying to put the proximity on as he works away into outside zone 2. Meyer transitions right behind Root, holding the proximity right as the door handle of Trevor Root's BMW. Trevor Root doing a great job completing outside zone number 2, curls it back into that first center clip as Chris Meyer jumps to the backside, holding his proximity, doing a great job, and across the finish line. Make some noise for your finalists here at Raceway Park the Gambler, Trevor Root and Chris Meyer.
That is a tough one, Mike. That was a great lead run by Trevor Root. Nice and smooth, exactly where he needed to be. Maybe leaving a little bit to be desired with that first outer zone, but Chris Meyer is absolutely on his door for most of this. Phenomenal chase driving, although he may have left a little bit of angle out there to be able to stay on his door. I think the judges are gonna have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, I do not want to be a judge. It seems so difficult, and everybody gives the judges such a hard time. These guys are literally leaned in over the table at our instant replays here up in the judges tower. I don't like, it looks like these guys can't see. That's how close they are to the screen. They are hard in deliberation, going over the side-by-side, the very same side-by-sides that you guys are seeing here on the live stream. A big shout to our live stream staff and technical crew holding it down, making sure that we have the highest quality stream possible for both our live attendees and also you guys on the internet. Big shout out to everybody on the internet. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe. Give a shout out to all of the event sponsors and the drivers that have been involved in today's event. It has been a phenomenal drifting event. I don't know how we're going to top this. I mean, it just goes up from here. This energy just holds.
I'm thinking so. So you definitely want to be involved in any way that you can, whether it be driving, crewing, or spectating at the next Gambler. Make sure you hit up the website to register, or grab some tickets and just come and spectate and enjoy it just like we are.
The fries here are amazing. It's worth the admission fee for the fries alone. You can't get these fries outside these gates here. It's a little oasis of French fries here at Raceway Park. So while we're waiting for our drivers and our judges to deliberate and see if we have a winner, if we do, we're going to pull our drivers back down under the tower. We'll put them in front of the Raceway Park wall, and we have a verdict, but it's going one more time.
Again, who's mad at more drifting? I definitely think that maybe, in my opinion, Trevor Root may have done the lead a little bit better and Chris Meyer chased slightly better, but what do I know? The judges are the ones making that call. Either way, they're going one more time. These drivers are going to have to fix those small errors and really step it up a notch if they want to take the win here.
Like I said before, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV, but what it looks like is that both drivers put down a fantastic lead lap, and the judges just want to see somebody really take charge in that chase position. So both these drivers are going to go back, put some new tires underneath the car, going to go check all their boxes for their lead position again, give the real estate for the other driver to play, but the aggression in the chase, I think, is really what's going to define here. Once again, a big shout out to all the staff, event sponsors, and our media personnel in the bunkers and our drivers. This place has been electric all weekend. It has been a phenomenal weather. I'm telling you guys, I've been out here first time coming back and drifting here, first time in the stadium, first time competing in an event in over 4 years, and it is worth every dollar. Make sure you guys sign up at racewaypark.com. I want to compete against you in the next one.
I think Mike's calling out the internet right now.
Bring it.
If you think you can beat the one and only Mike the Pez dispenser Perez, come on down to the next gambler and put it on his door.
Yeah, well, sign up. Let's see what you got.
Woo-wee, I like when it gets interesting.
Reese said if it's on the road course, he's going to come out and drive. That's what I just heard. Is that what you just said, Reese? Yeah? That's official? It's on the internet. It must be real. Trevor Root already locked into the chase position, sitting underneath that Raceway Park tower, just waiting for Chris Meyer to put some new rubber underneath the car. And Chris is not in his pit, so it looks like he is somewhere out there. Come on, Chris, get over the grid. We're all waiting anxiously for this one more time battle between Chris Meyer as he locks himself into that lead position going up against Trevor Root. I guess we should give a big thank you, even though I'm a little mad at them, for our 3 judges this weekend, Ricky Hoffman, Tanner Munson, and Reese Marin. Not giving me the verdict I wanted, but maybe the verdict I needed. As we work our way into our last battle here of Chris Meyer and Trevor Root, I think they're ready to go. Grab your seats. Party's about to start here at Raceway Park, the Gambler.
All right, both drivers are set and ready. Let's see if they can step it up with the aggression and show the judges that they deserve to stand at the top of that podium. Chris Meyer in the lead, Trevor Root giving chase. Let's go! Chris Meyer coming in hot, throwing it in way early before that initiation cone. Fully feeling that first outer zone, but Trevor Root is knocking on the door. Chris Meyer giving that outside wall a little kiss as he gets and fully fills that second outer zone, but Trevor Root is on his door, ladies and gentlemen. They might as well high five at this point. Nice job across the center section and super smooth as they come out of the third outer zone. That is what we want to see.
This is top-notch driving. I'm going to call them out. This is better than some pro spec. They're out here driving. These dudes are out here putting on a show for everyone. Chris Meyer and Trevor Root. Trevor following Chris through the danger. Chris is just dialed at this point, flirting with danger on the very edge of the stadium here at Raceway Park. This is entertaining. This is a good watch. This is good TV.
This is good family TV, Mike. I think you just called half a pro spec out too. Hey, pro spec drivers, if you have a spare car, bring it on down to the Gambler. Let's see if you can step it up against our Gambler drivers.
All these guys are on the same 255 tire rule. So all these guys are throwing down in the same similar specs. These dudes, I believe, are around 400 or 500 horsepower. And there's a plethora of horsepower range, chassis types, everything. And honestly, this place brings out the best of the best.
I completely agree. It's a great spot to get some driving experience and to put your machine up against someone else and see if you can come out on top. Here we go, the lights are out. We're gonna send him again. This time, Trevor Root in the lead position and Chris Meyer giving chase. Here they come in, nice and hot to that first outer zone, entering early before that first initiation cone. Trevor Root leaving a little bit to be desired in that first outer zone, but Chris Meyer not letting him get an inch away. Trevor Root in the dirt, ladies and gentlemen. He is outside that second outer zone. That is as wide as we've seen him drive today, and Chris Meyer is matching it right on the door of that gray E36. Hot dang, I don't think I can tell a winner.
You guys are getting your money's worth. 100% that was the money's worth. I'm so glad I lost to that guy. Trevor Root and Chris Meyer throwing down here, putting on a show. Root getting extra spicy through the back, and no one wavered. They're just riding out. I think we have to open up this back outside zone as like half rally course now. Can we just like start sending it through the grass? Like I'm already there. Everybody else is almost there. Looks like Root and Meyer doesn't mind playing out in the field.
I think Mike is justifying that wall drag there a little bit.
All right, don't harp on it.
I'm just kidding. No, that was a great run by both drivers. The judges are going to look at the side-by-side here and see if they can determine a winner, in which case we will head down to underneath the tower. You guys are all invited to check out the awards ceremony on the podium, but first we need a winner.
And it looks like we have a verdict. We're piloting out our drivers right now into the middle of this drift stadium, so you guys don't have to go anyway. Just hold tight, hang in your seats. This beautiful weather here at Raceway Park. I got to run down there? No, well, I've been running up and down these bleachers all day. There's a lot of bleachers here. Plenty of seats for you guys to come watch all the action here at the Gambler. And make some noise for your final 3 drivers here. Chris Meyer, Trevor Root, and Chris Stevens. Look at that freshly waxed S13. Once again, make some noise for these three drivers as they climb out of their cars. Chris Meyer, Trevor Root, and Chris Stevens. These guys throwing down all weekend long. All right, first up, let's give it up for our third place finisher here, battling it out in that freshly waxed front end S13. The BMW Hunter himself, Chris Stevens, our third place winner here at Raceway Park the Gambler. And now what everybody's standing up for, because you guys already got them out of their seats. Phenomenal driving here from Chris Meyer and Trevor Root, both piloting those BMWs. Trevor Root with that LSA V8-powered gray E36, and Chris Meyer with that V8-powered E46. We have a winner. Chris Meyer takes the win here at Raceway Park the Gambler, taking out Trevor Root with a hard-fought battle. Make some noise for all three of these drivers here as they fought it out here at the very same drift stadium as the pros were last weekend, but only here at Raceway Park the Gambler you get action like this. Make some noise for these three drivers here as we parade them out of here. You guys, our media guys, get back in that bunker so we let these guys celebrate. We'll meet you guys back behind the tower at the Raceway Park wall, where we'll award the big checks on the box and we'll start showering some champagne. We'll meet you guys back beyond the tower. Our media and track personnel get to a safe place as our drivers, please celebrate your wins. Make some noise for the boys! Chris Stevens, Trevor Root, and your winner here, Raceway Park the Gambler, Chris Meyer. Hey, that guy beat me. If you guys haven't already, make sure you wander over to the backside of the Raceway Park Tower, right behind the Raceway Park wall, as we got our 3 finalists lined up and ready to get up on the box here, the podium, taking home their winnings, their trophies, and their big checks. You guys are more than welcome to join us here back behind the tower. So please take the short walk, grab your snacks and your belongings, and come party with us as we celebrate our 3 finalists here today at Raceway Park the Gambler. All right, this is your last warning. High knees, sprint over. We're gonna start bringing up our drivers. We're gonna start with our number 3 position, the low setting on the podium box, but definitely number 1 in our hearts. Give it up for Chris Stevens, our number 3 place driver here at Raceway Park, the Gambler. Taking home the big check with $1,000. Moving right on to our 2nd place finisher here, driving his heart out, basically turning this car into an airplane all the time when he's here at the Drift Stadium. Make some noise for the boy, Trevor Root. Also, the winner of the last man standing, $900 extra. And the big check for $2,000. Dang, you taking home more money than the winner. All right, and now give it up for your winner here at Raceway Park the Gambler, Chris Meyer. Look at that strut. He knows where he belongs, right on top of the box. And taking home the big check with $4,000. Make some noise for your top 3 drivers here at Raceway Park, the Gambler. Thank you guys for joining us here at Raceway Park and on the internet, Facebook and YouTube. I hope to see you guys at the next one. Bring it out. Let me see what you got. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us on the internet. We'll see you next time, probably over on the road course for a double-header event. Make sure you get signed up at racewaypark.com. We all have a gambling addiction. I'll see you next time.